Shalom Yashra, this is your brother Dawud Dog coming at you again with another video from GMS Temple Bay 07. First and foremost, I want to say all praises unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, the great millstone, the rule well. And salutations to you brothers, pushing this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth. Alright, I'm going to get into this here lesson dealing with reincarnation in the Bible, alright? Contrary to popular Christian belief, reincarnation is in the Bible, you know. Reincarnation is kind of been given a fucked up name, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, some people believe, you know, when you die, you're going to come back like as a cockroach or something like that, you know? But we're going to get into this here lesson dealing with, you know, reincarnation and life after death in the Bible, you know? Actually, we're going to start out with... Let's start out here in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, verse 7. It says, "Then shall the dust return unto the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto Yahweh who gave it." Okay? You know, like the popular saying, ashes to ashes, dust to dust, you know? It says the dust shall return to the earth as it was, you know? All the elements that make up your body is pretty much all the elements that come from the earth, you know? Pretty much everything that there is, you know, it's all here, you know, everything, you know, when your body decomposes, it goes right back into the basically what it was, you know. This is why when you eat, you got to get vitamins and nutrients and stuff like that to keep, how do you say, repairing and healing and building back up your body, you know. It's like as a child, as a newborn baby, you spend most of your life as a newborn eating, consuming nutrients, vitamins and nutrients that came from the earth to build up your bone structure, your body, your muscle, and all that type of stuff, you know. But, and that's in the birthing process and the growing process. But when you die and you go back, you know, your body decomposes, goes back into the elements that, you know, that you came from, you know. You know, your body decomposes back into, it biodegrades, more or less to say, you know. But dealing with your spirit, it says, the spirit shall return unto Yahweh who gave it, you know. So contrary to popular belief, after life, you know, there ain't no, you're not going to go to so-called heaven or hell, you know. Now, in the Bible, they talk about, they use heaven, you know, there's a couple different words for heaven in the Bible, you know, they speak about the heavens, you know. But, you know, you have multiple different heavens. You have the heavens where, you know, when you look up in the sky and you see a bird flying, the bird is flying in the heavens, you know, in the sky. Then you also have the heavens where the stars are, you know, outer space. You know, then you also have where the Most High dwells. That also is considered a heaven, you know. But then what most people think about when they say, when I die, I want to go to heaven, you know, when they talk about being in heaven with the pearly gates and stuff like that, that type of stuff, that's actually a place here on earth, you know. That's basically when you're in rulership, when you have dominion over the earth, you know. When you have dominion over the earth, you in heaven, you know. But nevertheless, it says here that, you know, the spirit, you know, it says, says, and the spirit shall return unto Yahweh who gave it, you know. All these spirits are going to go back into the spirit world, back unto the Father who gave them the spirit, you know. We're going to read about that here in the book of Job. Okay. Now, in the book of Job, give you a little context of what was going on here. You know, Job was catching a lot of hell, you know. And, like, when you start off, the beginning of Job chapter 1, you know, talk about when Satan came, you know, it says, there was a day when the sons of Yahweh came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan came also among them. Okay? And Yahweh said unto Satan, where is thou coming from? Hang on. Verse 8, and Yahweh said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job? There is none like him in the earth, perfect and upright, and an upright man, one that feareth Yahweh and escheweth evil. Basically, he loved the Most High and hate evil, you know. And, you know, this is actually a cut into, you know, Satan was kicked out of heaven and stuff like that, and he's warring with God here and there, you know. Some little context about that, you know, first of all, it says, there was a day when the sons of Yahweh came and presented themselves before Yahweh. So they in heaven, you know, the angels coming before the Lord, and then also Satan comes with them, you know. So obviously Satan is up there in heaven he didn't get kicked out of heaven, more or less to say, how contrary to popular Christian belief. And, the Most High started speaking to Satan. He says, look, where thou comest from? Okay? Now, contrary to popular belief again, contrary to popular Christian belief, they would have you think that, Satan and the Most High, they had ends. Satan rebellious and this and that, and he don't listen to the Most High, but that's contradictory to the words, Esau is like that. He's got that spirit on him, That's what he is, But it says, the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant? Jumping up. And the Lord said unto Satan, where's thou comest from? Instead of Satan being rebellious, Satan just answered. It says, then Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro on the earth and from walking up and down in it. So they conversating back and forth. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job? They going back and forth with a conversation, And then Satan answered the Most High and said, does Job fear Yahweh for nothing or for naught? So they going back and forth having a conversation. This ain't no conversations like, what, fuck you, I'm gonna kill you, I hate you, blah, 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 type of deal, or I ain't listening to you. No, they having a conversation. Look, man, you tried my boy over there, I know what you do, where you been? I ain't seen you in a minute. Where you been? Like, oh, I've been going through the earth, seeing who I can fuck over and whatever, whatnot, so on and so forth, And he's like, look, you tried my homeboy over at Job? Basically, you should read the book of Job, and see the plagues that, Job went through. So, Job basically is getting plagued. Job is catching a lot of hell. He lost his family. Job got a lot of boils and sores all over his body, and all kind of craziness is going on with him, But nevertheless, Job was, catching just super hell, So he gets to the point to where he says, he's questioning, his birth and stuff. So it's like, just some context. Verse 8, let them curse it and curse the day who are ready to rise up in the morning. Hang on. Verse 3, let the day perish wherein I was born, in the night in which it was said there is a man-child conceived, So he's going in basically saying, look, why was I basically born, Like, damn, what the fuck, man, I'm going through a whole bunch of shit, man. It would have been better if I wasn't even born, So getting into the scripts, it says, verse 11, Job 3 and 11. Why died I not in the womb? From the womb? Why did I not give the ghost when I came out of the belly? Why did the knees prevent me, or why the breast that I should suck? So basically, for now should I have lain still and been quiet, I should have slept, then I would have been at rest. Okay? So basically he's saying, look, why was I even born? Why didn't I die on the day I was born, and curse the day I was born on and things like that, like, damn, I'm catching a lot of hell, like, it would have been just better if I would have just died, It says, for now should I have laid still and been quiet, I should have slept, then I should be at rest. Okay? So he was saying if I was dead, I would have been at rest. I would have been better off if I would have just been dead, I would have been at rest. Now, he's going to tell you who he would have been at rest with. We just read that the spirits go back into the Most High who gave them, And in this lesson, I'm trying to show you that when you die, it's not no heaven and hell that you're going to, You basically, everybody is going to the same spot when they die, Everybody's going back to the Most High when they die. Every spirit, every soul go back into the Most High. It didn't say the righteous souls or the wicked souls. It says, look, then the spirit go back into he that gave it, It says, for now should I have lain still and been quiet, I should have slept, then had I been at rest with kings and counselors of the earth, which built desolate places for themselves, or with princes that had gold, who filled their houses with silver, or as a hidden untimely birth, I had not been as infants which never saw the light. He's like, basically, why couldn't I have been with, like one of them little babies, like a stillborn, like a baby who died before they was even born, The wicked cease from troubling, and they that weary be at rest. Okay? So in verse 17, they're giving you both sides of the spectrum. The wicked, The wicked would be the people who being wicked to the weary. The weary, why they weary? Because the wicked's fucking them over, It says, the wicked cease from troubling, and the weary be at rest. So the wicked stop being wicked, and the weary, they finally, be at ease. Verse 18, there the prisoners rest together, they hear not the voice of their oppressor. Okay? So, no matter what your state is going to be, you going right back to the same spot, But when you at that spot, you ain't going to necessarily be, let me just reread. It says, the wicked cease from troubling, When you get back up into heaven, you ain't going to be into a condition where you basically like how you are down here, If you was real wicked on the earth down here, when you go back up there, you're going to know what's going on. Your eyes are going to be open at that point in time. Then, you're going to be like, damn, why was I going off this and snap, more or less. But then again, there's another script in the Bible to tell you, the former things, you're not going to remember none of the former things in your past lives. And we're going to get into that right after this. But it says, the prisoners rest together, they hear not the voice of the oppressor. The small and the great are there. The servant is free from his master. So the slave and the slave master basically finna be in the same spot, But they're not going to be oppressed together no more, And it's not like, oh, well, fuck, everybody get to go to heaven, let's just keep doing wickedly. Nah, that's not what that's talking about. And like I said, we're going to get into that, because you get your judgment here on this earth, You die, you go back up to the Most High, but then He puts you right back into a body, and then you're going to get your judgment played out right here on this here earth. Like I said, the heaven that people are normally talking about when they talk about they want to go to heaven is played out here on this here earth, It says, okay, we still got it. Where is the light? Wherefore is light given to him that is in misery, and life unto the bitter in his soul, which longeth for death, but it cometh not, and dig for it more than for his treasures, So basically it's saying, like, look, the people who like Job in his scenario, he's looking for death. He like, man, why didn't I die? He's to that point to like, all hell is hell, But he's basically saying when you die, you go to this place, like you basically at ease, which rejoice exceedingly and are glad when they can find the grave. Why is light given to man whose ways are hid, whom Yahweh has a hedge in him? But pretty much that was the point, It's like saying, when you die, all the spirits go back, your body go back to the earth where it came from, and the spirits go back into He who gave it, But it also gave you here Job. Basically, it broke down, where the wicked and the righteous is going to be. Everybody's going all to the same spot, Going to jump into the book of 1 Corinthians. We're going to get to some of this reincarnation. So like I said, you're going to, when you pass away, you go back up into the heavens, but then the Most High send you right on back down here, And this is 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 32. And the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets, okay? So basically meaning, look, if you was a prophet in the old time, in the past life, you're going to be a prophet in this life, And so some of the things that's not said here, if the prophets are always going to be prophets, then that means, if you're not a prophet, then who are you, So let's say the wicked's still going to be wicked. The wicked ain't going to wind up being a prophet, or, one of the 2/3, they're going to always be 2/3. You always going to be in your same lot. You always going to be doing the same thing over and over and over again. You basically keep coming back in your same lot, I'll give you some examples of this. Book of Matthew, chapter 17, and verse 10. And his disciples asked him, saying, Why then saith the scribes that Elias or Elijah must come? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Elijah truly shall come first and restore all things. But I say unto you that Elias is already, and they knew him not, but have done unto him whatever they listed. Likewise also the Son of Man suffer them. Okay? The disciples understood that he spake unto them of John the Baptist. Okay, so he said, like in scriptures say that before the Son of Man come in, basically Elijah gonna come, right? And so they was asking like, yo, what's up with he says, why then saith the scribes that Elias must come first, you know? Like, what are they talking about when they say Elijah gonna come first? We ain't seen Elijah yet, you know? And Yahushua saying, look, Yahushua said, look, Elias has already come, but they knew him not, you know? But then they said that the disciples understood they was talking about John the Baptist. But John the Baptist's name is John the Baptist, not Elijah, you know? What are you talking about? I thought we was coming back as Elijah. Elijah gonna be Elijah. Yeah, the spirit of Elijah is gonna come back and be the same spirit, the same dude, same everything the same, but he's gonna have a different name, you know? He obviously has a different name, but it's the same spirit doing the same exact thing, you know? Pull out this is the book of Matthew chapter 11 verse 13. For all the prophets and the laws prophesied unto John, and if you will receive it, this is Elijah which was for to come. Okay? He that has an ear to hear, let him hear. So they give you two contexts here. It says, and if you can receive it. Okay? And he that has an ear, let him hear. You know? We all have ears. We can all hear, you know? And it's clear to read for all the prophets and the law prophesied unto John. If you could receive it, this is Elijah, which was to come. You know, anybody could be like, okay, that's Elijah to come, but we don't understand that. His name is John the Baptist. He don't even look like him, and so on and so forth, you know? But he's saying if you could receive it, you know, like in 1 Corinthians, the spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets. So that same spirit was still subject to the same lot that he was in, you know? Elijah came back as John the Baptist, you know? This was out of Yahushua's mouth himself, you know, talking about reincarnation in the scriptures. He spoke quite often about this as well. It's the book of Luke, chapter 22, verse 28. Well, all right, well, I'll just read it down. This is Luke 22 and 28. Ye are they which have continued with me in my temptation. Okay? It says, ye are they which continue with me, you know? And also he that endureth unto the end. You know, this is going hand in hand, telling you who you are, you know, and where you be. It says, and I appoint you unto a kingdom, as my Father has appointed unto me, that ye may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom, and sit on thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? It says that you was going to sit on these 12, you know, the 12 disciples he was talking to was going to sit on the 12 thrones judging Israel, you know? And when you read through the scripts, that never happened in the Bible, you know? All these men, all of these men died, you know? They all wound up dying. None of them sat on no thrones, and none of them judged nobody, you know? They wasn't in rulership, you know? So, you know, you have to ask yourself, was Yahushua lying, or what was he talking about, you know? Jumping back to the book of Matthew, chapter 19, in the same verse. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 19, verse 28. And Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, ye shall also sit upon the 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? And when we click onto this, but anyway, he says, they that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, okay, when the Son of Man shall sit on his throne. So he's telling them about this, and at this point in time, Yahushua is about to get crucified, you know. He's not on the earth at this point in time to sit on no throne and to rule over anybody, you know. But he says, look, at that point in time, when Yahushua is coming back to do all of that, the 12 is also gonna sit on thrones, and they're gonna judge 12 tribes. But like I said, all these men wind up passing away at this point in time, in the current time frame that we reading about in the scripts, But when we click on this here word, and click on the word regeneration, I don't know if you can hear that or not, but anyway, the definition for this word regeneration: a new birth, reproduction, renewal, recreation, regeneration. Okay, so it's dealing with like a new birth. Basically, it's a compound word. It's you have to rewrite something, you have to redo something to cause to come again. And dealing with gene, that's life or flesh, It says hence renovation, regeneration, the production of new life. Well, here we go. Production of a new life consecrated to Yahweh, a radical change of mind for the better. The word often used to denote a restoration of things to a pristine state is renovation as a renewal or restoration of life after death. Okay? The renovation of the earth after the deluge, the renovation of the world to take place after the destruction of fire by stoic thoughts. The signal and glorious change of all things in heaven and earth for better restoration, the primal and perfect condition of things which exist before the fall of our first parents, which the Jews look for a connection with the event of the Messiah, which Christians expect connection with the visible return of Yahweh from the heavens. All right, that's not what we wanted to get into. There was a something else we wanted to grab in here. Hang tight. Slovakia. Where's it at? I can't find the oh, this might be right here. Oh, this is not it. Alright, I can't quite find it. But nevertheless, it was getting more into this definition here. It says as renewal or restoration of life after death. A new birth, reproduction, renewal, recreation, regeneration. Okay? When you see me in the regeneration, restoration of life after death, like I said, all those men wind up dying, But this talking about the regeneration. It says, verily, verily, I say unto you, they which have followed me in the regeneration or renewal or life after death, when the Son of Man shall sit on the throne of his glory, you shall also sit upon the 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay? Next scripture we're going to get, dealing with some other cases of reincarnation in the scripts, in the book of Jeremiah. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, verse 9. But they shall serve Yahweh their power, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Okay? Now here in the book of Jeremiah, it was speaking about King David here. Now, when you read throughout the Bible, at this point in time, King David is already dead, They done went into captivity and they in Babylon. But it says, they shall serve They shall serve Yahweh their power, and David their king, whom I will raise up. So how can you serve a dead man if he's already long dead? You know, they're talking in a sense of something to happen in the future. And they shall serve. When you say shall, it means they're not doing it now. They didn't do it beforehand. You know, they did. You know, obviously they did actually serve King David when he was king, but, you know, the context of this word is shall, meaning it's still to come. They should serve Yahweh their power, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Most High is going to wind up raising David back up and bring him back onto this earth, and he's going to be in the same state he was in before, and he's going to be king over Israel, you know. And this is written throughout the whole Bible. You know, this is one of the major cases of reincarnation spoken about in the Bible, speaking on King David. This is Ezekiel 37, verse 24. Actually, I'm going to read the 23 down to 25, just to give a little context. We're going to start at 21. This is Ezekiel 37, verse 21. And said to them, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen. Okay, so we still among the heathen right now. We hadn't had salvation yet. We still in Babylon under Esau. So you know this has not happened yet. This is this is a prophecy which still has to come to pass, you know. It says, thus saith Yahweh power, behold, I will take the children of Israel from among the heathen, whither they be gone, and I will gather them on every side, and bring them into their own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountain of Israel. Okay, so we still broken into two different kingdoms, the southern and the northern kingdom. But we coming back, as you see us on the highways and the byways, you know, we're not divided it up into two different kingdoms. You know, we under one banner as the children of Israel. You know, you don't have the kingdom of Israel and the kingdom of Judah no more. You just have the children of Israel, you know. It says, then I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountain of Israel, in the land of Israel. You know, we still not there. And let's skip something. No, I didn't. All right, verse 22. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountain of Israel, and one king shall be king to them all. And they shall be no more two nations, neither shall they divide into two kingdoms anymore at all. Like I just said, you're not going to have the kingdom of Israel no more. You're not going to have the kingdom of Judah no more. You're just going to have the children of Israel, you know. Neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols, nor their detestable things, nor any of their transgressions, but I will save them out of their dwelling places wherein they have sinned, and will cleanse them, so they shall be my people, and I will be their power. Okay? So none of this has happened yet, you know? And this is Ezekiel speaking. Now, at this point in time, King David is dead. Okay? Now, what we're about to read is something pertaining to King David where he would have to be alive, but this didn't happen while he was alive. And this still hadn't happened until this day that you're watching this here video, because we still in captivity in the Babylon, okay? We're not back in our homeland. So this, you know, this is something for these grape juice drinkers to try to break down for me. Verse 24, Ezekiel 37:24. And David, my servant, shall be king. Okay, there's that word again, shall be, meaning this ain't happened yet. Okay, and David, my servant, shall be king over them. And they all shall have one shepherd, and shall also walk in my judgments, and observe my statutes to do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I gave unto Jacob my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt. They shall dwell therein, even they and their children, and their children's children forever. Which we hadn't seen that yet, giving you more context that this is something to happen in the future. And my servant David shall be their prince forever. Okay? And so, again, talking about King David here. How is King David going to be a king over them? How's King David going to rule over the children of Israel after they did away with the two kingdoms, you know? When David was alive, you know, first he was king over the kingdom of Judah. Then he became, you know, the kingdom of Israel asked him to be king over them as well, and that's, he became king over, both kingdoms, But at this point in time, we was divided, we went into captivity and things like that. Everything in the middle had to happen first. Now, the way to end it, King David's going to wind up being king over them, over the whole nation of Israel, This is the book of Hosea, chapter 3. This is Hosea chapter 3, verse 4. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, which we are today, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without a teraphim. Afterwards shall the children of Israel return. Okay, so afterwards, okay, we was living in the days without a king, but after that, the children of Israel, after shall the children of Israel return, which we doing today. We go on the highways and the byways to fish the hopeful elect, so we can all return. You start to see the house of David being brought back together, the 144,000 men on the highways and the byways pushing his truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth, That's the house of David being, and the tabernacles of David being risen back up. But we actually talking about the man David, We're not talking about, sometimes you read in the scriptures talking about the tabernacles of David is going to be built again, and the house of David, but that's not talking about, actually King David himself, but the scripts that we're bringing out, these scriptures actually just talking about King David just himself, It's not talking about the 144,000 or the elect, But it says, afterwards shall the children of Israel return and seek Yahweh their power, and David their king, and shall fear Yahweh and his goodness in the latter days. So in the latter days, they're going to be looking for King David, When they start looking for, the Lord, his true name and all that stuff, they're going to be looking for a king to rule over them, And we know that when Yahweh returns, he's going to be the king. You got the King of Kings, you got the Most High Yahweh, under him is Yahweh, under him is King David, And how we read under him is going to be the 12, The 12 is going to sit on those thrones, judging the nation of Israel, And that's going to be your order of how do you say, your order of power, But actually, I'm gonna go ahead and end it there because we didn't went on a little bit too long. But nevertheless, contrary, like I said, contrary to popular Christian belief, reincarnation is written about in the Bible, throughout the whole Bible. There's plenty of other verses, speaking about King David coming back. That's one of the prophecies that we hadn't seen yet. King David hadn't been revealed yet. He's not back on the scene, and I would imagine that King David is on the planet Earth right about now, and he's being raised back up. He's being, put back into his rightful position and things like that, so he can be king back over, Israel again, So, nevertheless, like the scriptures say, those in the regeneration, those that follow in the regeneration, they're going to sit in those 12 thrones, And also the scriptures say the spirit of the prophets is subject to the prophets. So the men that you see out there in the highways and the byways, these are the same men that you read about in the scriptures, These are the same men that, when you talk about Isaiah, Ezekiel, Ezra, Daniel, and all these are the same men that you see out on the highways and the byways, While you're going around scoffing and talking about, oh, you ain't no prophets and nothing like that, you might not know which man of the Lord you're speaking to. You could be saying that into the face of the prophet Isaiah or any of these men. You just might not never know. So nevertheless, Lord willing, this video is edifying. I'm gonna go ahead and end this one out saying, "Call halal Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua." Double honor to the apostles and elders, a great millstone that rule well. And salutation to you, brothers, pushing this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth. Shalom.